Welcome to East by West Farms. Here we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Today I'm going to do summer maintenance of snake gourd. Here you will see is a snake gourd plant. That's our single seed challenge 2023. We planted this from seeds in the pot and then transplanted in this location. The idea was for it to climb up and cover the whole side of this deck to provide shade for us. Unfortunately for this year, we got a relatively cool spring and then got hit by the heat dome that lasted until now. So the snake gourd didn't have a lot of time to actually have the temperature for it to grow vigorously. And so it only covered half of the deck. And you can see from the leaves that clearly the snake gourd is under stress, which is not surprising because we have 100 degree, that's over 40 degree C temperature for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Even night temperature is above 30 degree or 90 degrees. Under this kind of temperature, plants just don't grow, and they are really just struggling to survive. What we can do is do some maintenance, summer maintenance, to help them reduce the stress. The first thing to reduce the stress is to actually take the fruit out. This cuckoo plant actually gave us 2 fruit. Last week, I harvested one that is 50 centimeters long, it's half meter long. I left this one here for the video. This one actually is longer. It's 63 centimeters long. It hasn't bulged at the bottom yet, so it might still have some room to grow, but because of the heat, I don't want the plants to spend all the energy to trying to grow this fruit. I want the plants to spend the energy to conserve energy, to wait until it's cooler, then it can give all the energy back to produce more fruit. The second thing you can do to reduce the stress for the plant in the middle of the heat, of course, is provide shade. Because it's grow along the deck, it actually get morning shade, but in the afternoon it could get pretty sunny over here. What we can do is to cover the soil underneath so that you provide shade for the root ball, and the leaves, unfortunately, just have to take the sun. And one way to cover the root, of course, is to do some chop and job. I have some dead leaves here that is from the vine that grow during spring, and they run out of their lifetime. So I can just cut them and drop them on the ground, and that's how nature works. This will provide shade, and when they decompose, to provide nutrition for the plants and prepare them for the fall. The daytime temperature hasn't changed much, but the nighttime temperature might start to go down, hopefully. And I can see that I have some new growth. These you can see are pretty healthy, and compared to these guys here that was grown in spring. Ideally, I can trim all the spring growth and let the summer growth take over. But since this is my first time growing cucusi, I don't know how it take the cutting. When you trim the plant, it might induce stress as well. So I'm go conservative here, that I just cut the dead leaves off and leave the spring growth on. And if they die, then I come back and do another round of chop and job. The second chop and job I can do is some of the companion plant that I planted around the cucusi. I have some shiso over here that actually self-sprouted. They seems don't mind too much about the heat, even though this one do have some sun damage look like. And they like to get a haircut, so if you trim them, they will sprout in and branch out and get a ramification. And these are actually pretty good. So I'm going to save it for dinner tonight. We also have some of the sunflowers that get topped over by the 80-mile wind we have here, so it's almost a sunflower bush, but they are about done. So what I'm going to do is chop these and then use them as mulch for the cucusi plant. Before I chop the sunflowers, of course I'm going to harvest the buds for the chicken. They love the sunflowers. I trimmed most of the sunflower pads off, and now I can work on my lopper to get the thick stems. I cleaned up this area. You can see that I got quite a lot of mulch for the snake gourd. The most important things you can do to reduce stress for the plant in summer is water them heavily. We have been just spot watering this area, and it's middle of August, so actually it's time for us to think of fall planting. We're going to water this area more heavily. Since we're going to water it, we may as well do our fall planting here. So what I'm going to do is plant off some of this organic soybean here. I'm just going to kind of throw it in here. One benefit of planting soybeans or beans around the plant is beans are lagoons, and they are nitrogen fixer. So once they start to grow, they will be able to provide nitrogen for the squash plant. Chicken, don't eat my soybeans. No, no, no. Rooster, that's not food for you. Shoo, 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 shoo. And then I will clear this area, roost, shoo, 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 go. Then I will clean this area, and the soybean is buried under the mulch, and then water them. So hopefully we will get them sprouted and get a full harvest of soybeans. In this video, I showed some maintenance work we did to reduce the stress on the snake gourd and prepare them for a cooler fall growth. The first thing, of course, is to remove the fruit and then do some chop and job to provide shade for the root, and of course then plant some fall crop to help nitrogen fixing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumb up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button to follow our journey with the East by West Farms.